said the 9-pointer come in to 20 yards.
I just fucking smoked him.
All right, welcome to the Borderland Pursuits podcast, episode number 6. We've been stoked for this one for a while now to have a couple of our good friends on to talk about their killer seasons they've had this year. So, Tyler Gravening, Jake Gondik, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Tyler, you want to kind of start out by talking a little bit about how you got into hunting and kind of how that's evolved where it is today?
Yeah, I mean, I just grew up hunting with my dad. I mean, back in the day, it was you couldn't hunt till you were 12. So, went out to the stand with him all the time, and it pretty much just evolved from there. And here I am today now and doing the same thing with my kids. So,
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Jake, how about you?
Kind of similar. I mean, started out, following my dad around trying to shoot birds, grouse hunting when you're younger, and then try to get into the bow hunting thing, and then hunting kind of takes my entire life over now at this point. So whether that's haven't gone out west for a few years, but done some out west stuff, done a lot of local whitetail hunting. Now whitetail hunting typically in 3 or 4 states a year. Bouncing around a little bit, doesn't matter, gun, bow, muzzleloader, crossbow.
One of those guys.
Yeah. I'm slightly inferior to some of these Borderland Pursuits fellas, but no, I mean it doesn't matter what we're chasing deer all over the place now, and we every year, just when you think it can't get any more spread out and crazier, we find a way to make it more spread out and crazy and have less time and juggling more hunting. So it's a little bit of where it started and where it's gone, and a lot of fun in there and a lot of deer and hopefully a lot more to come. So
Well, I don't know how you two are going to top this season that you just had. Like, what a year.
yeah, I mean it was a good year. Couple different states. It was successful. As far as Tyler, they had a heck of a season as a family. It's been a lot of fun. I mean, the last few seasons, we've had success really from early in the year, from September through, well, recently January. So it's just been what we used to be obsessed about hunting, maybe 2 weeks of the year, 3 weeks of the year for the rut, has transformed into hunt from every moment you possibly can, or
take up as much time at work
when
as you can,
especially when weather allows to, when there's a cold front and it makes sense to go. We try to make the most of it. So it's been a lot of fun.
So compared to when you guys started hunting younger with your parents and stuff, how would you say that evolved to where it is today? Like, did the lease aspect become more of a thing nowadays compared to back then? And traveling, is the time still the same amount you guys put in as compared to like your dads did? Or is it just grown with you guys in today?
For me, it's grown way more.
Yeah.
I mean, hunting up in northern Wisconsin, it's fun. But when you go a little further south, it gets 100 times better. And I guess that's what's got me more into it, is hunting down there and seeing the amount of deer you see. And I don't know, up here is still a blast, and we hunt up here as much as we can. And that's all we had back in the day was up here. And I mean, it used to be better up here, but it's not what it used to be anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that's definitely influenced me in hunting a lot more.
Yeah, as far as for me, the time part of it, probably put in a similar amount of time, actually maybe arguably even less hunts now, just in better locations, more, variety of states and so on. When I was younger, especially in high school, when I really got hooked into bow hunting, I remember coming home every single, day. There was a year, I forget if a junior, senior, whatever I was, but I hunted 27 out of 28 days straight. Just kept going. I think I missed one day for my grandma's birthday or something. But it was, so I can't say I probably sit anymore now, but as far as the advancing of properties, states, certainly spread out a lot more now. And I have more success with fewer hunts now just based off location. And not a good hunter. I just hunt in spots where there's decent amount of bucks, to be frank. So
Yeah.
Well, you think like your knowledge like gained all these years with knowing weather patterns and just time of the year, just all that different stuff has definitely helped, or
yeah, I think it factors in. Crazy enough, I would say the majority of the stuff that I've learned is watching YouTube, right? Is watching other people. You learn from other people's success. You learn from other people's failures. Nowadays, the weather is, we all can complain at the meteorologist and at the weatherman, but the reality is it's pretty accurate when they say there's a front coming in. And if you can figure that out a little bit, a lot of apps obviously help with that now. I think there's a variety of them, whatever people like to use. So I think that really helps on when to sit, because a guy can go hunt anytime you want, right? If you got the time off, you might as well go sit.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, you know, a guy should probably find some sort of balance, right? I mean, it's tough, and I'm not the one to say that typically, but try to hunt at the best times of the year and when the weather's best. I mean,
that's
Yeah.
something that's changed for me for sure. Is I used to every year I'd make sure I had like the same 6 or 7 days off of work for sure. Now it's like I'm watching that weather pattern, waiting for that front to come in. And like if I see it in a week in advance, like, oh, there's probably going to be one. My boss is pretty good about, all right, you got your time, go ahead and take it as long as there's nothing big coming on. So I'm saving my time off for like when those fronts are coming now.
yeah,
So,
I think that has a pretty huge impact and correlates at the end of the year to success. I mean, every once in a while there's the fluke sits, right, where it just happens to be the first time at that spot or that stand. Had one of those recently, and it just happened to be one of those deers there hitting a food plot, and it was like 80 degrees, and that's the end of it, right? I mean, it just dumb luck is what that is. But also part of it is having the food plot there, staying out of there until the deer are consistently using it. So there's obviously still a ton of luck involved with it.
Yeah. That's one of the
But-
things we learned big time in the last couple of years is just pressuring. Like we don't pressure our stands nearly as much as we used to. We used to like go hunt our good stands pretty much every sit we had.
Yeah.
And we just stopped doing that now. Like we have stands set up where we don't touch them all year now. Like until primetime rut action like is going on, we won't even go step foot back there anymore.
yeah.
And I mean that's definitely helped us out a lot too by being able to spread out on the properties where we have them, and we don't overhunt them anymore, I guess.
I think a big part of that too is now having that ability that you guys have with your lease properties and stuff like that is being able to bounce to different areas to where so many hunters out there they have their 10 acres or whatever it is, and maybe 1 or 2 stands on that small piece of land. Like they're going to burn them up, but that's where they got to hunt. That's where they're going to hunt.
Yep.
So
Yeah, and that's probably one of the coolest things about hunting in general, but especially whitetail hunting is, I think there's two theories that you see most often, and I think both of them work really well. One is kind of what I described earlier of the high school approach of sit 27 out of 28 days. I think 20 something of those were in the same stand, and just wait it out because you've had bucks on camera and eventually one's going to come in.
and you're not
right?
even paying attention to wind direction or nothing.
Nope.
You're
You just sit it
making sure you're
because
there.
at midnight there's a buck that comes in every once in a
Yeah.
while. Right? So, if you catch the right doe, and that's actually what ended up happening that year is I ended up shooting at the time what I thought was a huge buck. It was like a 112-inch 8-pointer 3-year-old buck that I was really tickled with. Biggest buck I think I shot at the time on the 27th sit.
Mhm.
But then there's like what Tyler just mentioned now is maybe hunt a little less, pick the times that are better, and pick the spots that you haven't touched at all, right? And you reference the guys that have 10 acres to hunt, and that's kind of the same approach. But if you like to sit, go sit. There's no right way to do it. There's no wrong way to do it. That's the greatest thing about this, right?
A lot of guys just want to get out, to get away, take their mind off of life, and just it's no better place to be than being in the tree and
Yeah, enjoy the woods.
enjoying the woods. Yeah.
Yeah. No, without a doubt. And we're just we're pretty fortunate now with all the properties that we get to hunt, whether they're lease properties, permission properties, friendship deals, properties that family owns, that kind of type of thing. So it's nice to be able to bounce around. It's nice to be able to play the wind, to think, oh, well, it hasn't rained in a week. Well, they're starting to rut. Maybe the water hole's a good spot to sit. Maybe go sit on the edge of this bean field or cornfield where there's a scrape line that suddenly popped up in the last week. So we really do have a significant advantage as far as that goes. And then we have well, at least I do, a fairly disgusting obsession with trail cameras. So that becomes an
Which are-
issue too.
Love-hate relationship.
Yeah, I mean,
Just a ballpark number. How many cams do you think you run a year?
this year was down. I think I probably ran about 90-ish.
90-ish cams. How many different states?
Just 4.
4 states.
Yep.
Just for
Just 4. Just 4 states, and he probably had 80 of those cams in Wisconsin. So
Quite a few, yeah,
Yeah.
between different properties.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still run a lot of cameras up north here too, and I didn't run nearly as many this year as I would on every other year that I've really ever put out cameras. But
You're a little busier now.
yeah, busier, chasing my tail, trying to stay working, also trying to spend some time with my kid. But yeah, I don't know, the camera game it's fun, but it drives me nuts too. I think a couple years ago I set my record. I don't know if I think it was probably just I had to get them all out type of thing, but I think it was 142 or something. I had.
Yeah.
can't imagine your SD card collections.
One thing
It's
we're learning though
Aggies.
with the cameras, do not trust them. Like,
Yep.
for us down there, there's no baiting, there's no nothing. So I mean, we set them up on trails, and when it comes to the rut, you don't get the number of pictures you think, and we put way too much like time and thinking of like where the cameras have been taking the best pics, where the big bucks have been on the cameras, and almost every sit we have, it's like, well, that buck didn't walk by the camera, that buck didn't walk by the camera. Like,
I think a lot of those
Yeah.
mature bucks like just know how to skirt those cameras. They're
they're not even taking the main
off.
trails.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
just, it's crazy. Like, we put too much time into them to like justify it. Like, we get to a point where like we just got to go sit.
They're definitely fun and they definitely serve their purpose.
Oh,
but
they
they're-
do, yeah.
They can be hurtful in ways.
Yep.
For sure.
I think, especially in areas where you can feed deer, I think trail cameras. I know it's probably going off on a little bit of a tangent, but I think trail cameras do save a few deer. I've been saying this the last few years, especially locally up here, right? Like during the rut, if a guy would just say, if he had those rutcation days and he just said, hey, I'm going to go sit for 7 days, regardless of the weather, whatever, and I'm going to sit this stand or whatever it would be. A lot of times we've all had it, whether you're pulling an SD card chip or you're at work and you look down at your app and go, oh no, the buck comes in, right?
Yep.
And you're thinking, well, I got to hunt him tomorrow morning or I got to hunt him tomorrow night. Well, most of the time, majority of the time, if you're hunting feed, right, you're going to say, I'll just hunt him in the afternoon.
Mhm.
Well, 24 hours later, that thing 2-3 miles away, right? And a lot of times he never comes back.
Mhm.
So if a guy would just either one, not have a trail camera, or two, would just go, I'm just going to sit because it's the rut and it's the first week, second week of November, last week of October, whatever it may be. You might have stuck that buck and he might be, what would normally be 2 miles away, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know. There is some advantage to the same old theory of just hunt when you can. If you can take a week off regardless, take the week off and go hunt. So I think
You know?
adds into,
Well, like, I shot my buck this year, and we have 2 cell cameras around this pond. It's a decent sized pond, but not crazy big. I saw him twice. He never walked by a camera one time in them two encounters with him in
Mhm.
that same day. So I mean, it's just crazy the amount that you don't see on him, but you put all your time and effort into them. Like, oh, there hasn't been anything there in like the last week that's been worth shooting. But in reality, there probably has been.
we put a lot of stock into something that covers 20,
Yeah.
25 feet,
Yeah.
and like a real tight funnel. I don't care what camera you're running, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of room around them. But yeah, I don't know. I love it. It's fun. It's what I look forward to all year. Sure we'll hit on it, but I just got back from Iowa a few weeks ago and was unable to fill a tag down there. Ultimately, somewhat my choice, somewhat my actions of can't shoot, and I blame it on the gun. Gun was off. But
that
but
sounds
there,
awfully similar.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I might have heard that even on this podcast. So
You just need 8 shells.
Yeah.
yeah, well, I shoot at this buck on a food plot in Iowa, and I think it was my maybe 7th or 8th sit down there, and it comes out 60 yards away, textbook, beautiful, mature 8-pointer, probably close to the 140 mark. And I think there was just a couple days left this season, so that was more than sufficient for me. I pull up, shoot, probably rush the shot. He was walking out into a food plot an hour before dark. He had plenty of time to just chill out. I obviously didn't want to chill out.
Yeah.
And in my mind, we were loaded up into the processor, but boom, shoot, deer stops. Never actually seen a deer do like a double take where it was like, okay. Like, what was that? And it literally walked back in its same steps. And then I'm like, oh, it's just going to go in the woods, same trail. No, it turned and walked within 40 yards of me. I'd have been better off with a bow or crossbow than I would have been with the muzzleloader. But it got away, and I passed some nice deer down there, and it was a lot of fun. But it was, I just got back a couple weeks ago, and I'm already all fired up, and still got some cameras rolling, checking them and seeing what's survived, and get ready for next year, or this year now.
Yeah.
So you got over 100 cameras. Say 80 of those are in Wisconsin. You got dozens of stands. Is it just one deer that pops up that you're like, I want that deer and I'm going to go after it? Or how do you pick a spot when you have that much going on?
I think Tyler has more of the obsession with the one deer when it pops up.
Big time.
I have like an opportunistic approach, I think, to it, where it's like, he'll be like, where are you going to sit? I'm going to be like, well, there's 4 bucks I would shoot over at, property A, right? So that's where I'm going. And he's like, I'm going to go sit for a week for this buck that's over on property B.
Yeah. Well, yes, I will go sit there. I won't sit the same stand every time or anything. Like, I play it smart, but like, I do get a crazy obsession over a single deer every year, it seems like. And I don't know, that's just what drives me, I guess. I just want to kill that deer, and most of the time it doesn't happen.
I definitely know that feeling, because I'm the same way once.
I don't know what it is, but one deer every year gets me, and it's like I want to go after that one, and yeah, it's fun. That's what makes it enjoyable.
A big part of it for me is like, yeah, I'm obsessed with that biggest buck I got on cam. Like, that's the one I want to kill. But another part of it is I enjoy hunting, so I'm fine with passing up all those other deer, just enjoying time in the woods.
Yep.
Just waiting for that moment for that one I truly want.
Yeah.
Like, because I just love being in that tree. Like, I love the fall and doing that. There's nothing better. So,
and there is something to be said too. Like, we turn not every weekend, but every opportunity we get when it makes sense to go hunting, we turn it into a miniature deer camp of some sort, right? So it can be kind of frustrating, even if you shoot a nice buck, to be the one that goes, all right, well, let me know what you guys see tonight, right?
It sucks.
So you're sitting back, or you're like, well, I've been gone how many weekends? Maybe I should go do something else, and that kind of stuff. So like you just said, Brett, it's the greatest part about hunting is being out in the woods. That's
even for us when we do fill our tag down in central Wisconsin down there, we still end up down there the next week, and just because we don't want to miss out on the next person filling their tag.
Have you guys ever thought about hanging another set with like each other, maybe starting to run camera for each other to film or anything like that? Like, if you tagged out, like, that's just another opportunity for you to go sit, I guess.
Tyler's mentioned it a little bit, and I think he would.
I've been doing some research on what camera I want to buy and a bunch of stuff like that, and I do want to get into it. Just not even for like me and him, but like I got my boy. That's all he wants to do is hunt now, and we sit with him every chance we get, and it's not even hunting at that point. It's just having fun with him, and we don't make it serious. We laugh. We're not seeing as many deer as we should, because we're having fun the whole time.
Want it to be enjoyable, though.
Yeah, we're not out there like, hey, you got to be quiet, bud. Like,
yeah.
We do that a little bit when the deer start moving around, but we have more fun than anything. And them are some of the funnest sits I've had in the last couple of years is with him.
Well, with your guys' results, if you don't take it serious, you should take me with next
time. No, it's been going good with him, and he loves it, and that's all he wants to do. And yeah.
Well, let's roll into then this dream season you guys did have. We've been talking about everything but the deer. So Tyler, we'll start with you on.
Yeah. We started our season out in August this year. Me and Jake did with his girlfriend and my wife and my kids. I think my kids were
Yep.
both out there. They came out and we all went out to North Dakota for what was it, 4 or 5 days?
Probably 5, yeah.
Yeah, we love going out there. We have a blast every time we go out there, and it's not even about the hunting for us out there. I mean, we just go out there to have a good time with everybody out there that we've met over the years, and it's a blast. But this year we were unsuccessful in North Dakota, and we did see deer, could have shot bucks. I first time out there, I didn't have a buck in range that I would shoot, I would say. I've been on a kick lately, I guess. I don't know. I've been hunting behind the ghost blind out there, just trying new spots and don't have a stand set up, so you bring the ghost blind in. And it's fun. I've been trying to shoot one behind that a little bit and didn't work out the first time. Saw some deer. Jake, I don't know if you want to talk about your time out there at all. I mean, you guys saw
Yeah,
a pile. Of
yeah,
deer.
we were hunted the same set 3 days in a row. That was one of those sets where I probably could have actually videotaped. It was kind of a cool setup. I sat in a portable above my girlfriend, and she was sitting in a ladder, and it was there ain't too many trees in North Dakota, but I think I was sitting in one that was about this big around.
Yeah, and it was not straight at all.
No, it was uncomfortable, but we would see so many deer every afternoon that it was, you didn't mind doing it. I can't remember how, exactly specifics and so on, but I think the first evening we were out there, there was a buck that we had a ton on camera, cut wheat field, and he was probably, I don't know, 18 wide, but didn't have much else going on, but he was decent
That
spread
10?
on him.
Which one?
No, that real flat rack
Okay,
eight that
yep,
walked by.
Yep.
And he walked by at about 45, 50 yards. And my girlfriend obviously wasn't shooting 45 or 50. And I don't know if he knew something was up or what, but he just walked right down the middle of the field. Next night, we had two bucks come in. One that was for sure a shooter, probably close to Pope and Young 8-pointer. And she couldn't get her bow back.
No.
And she...
Little buck fever.
I got to say the gun's off at times. She
Yeah.
said that it was too cold. And I said that time we were hunting in August, it was too cold. So I don't know. We all got to come up with something. But it turns out it was actually kind of an awkward way to sit and pull your bow back. It wasn't ideal at the end of the day. And we laid eyes on probably 140-something inch 10 that night too. Actually had too many deer near the stand where it would become a real pain for wind and everything. There's just a lot of deer in that
That
out
area.
there. Yeah, just in that area. And so we had a lot of fun doing that. Ultimately never fired a shot. Did
Nope.
we all weekend?
Not that whole weekend.
I only went out to North Dakota the one trip this year. I never even brought my bow in the tree. So that was fun.
Samantha and the farmer's wife, they went out and we got these bail blinds we build out there, and we got a really good setup for them, and have I don't know, we make them. We got 4 of them out there
At least that we built. Yeah.
And farmers got a couple also, and they went to sit one night and they had this buck pattern and they were gonna shoot it that night, and a badger dug a hole in the bail blind. So they opened the door to the bail blind, and there was dirt mounted up past the seat, like your normal
Oh my.
outdoor chair. It was past that, so they didn't end up hunting. They just ended up having fun and waiting for us to be done, and it was a good time.
I couldn't imagine if I would have been sitting there and all of a sudden a battered comes up digging.
I don't need a buck that bad.
Yeah. So, but then we weren't successful that trip. Had a lot of fun sits. I sat with my boy the last night, and I think it was the most fun I've ever had in a bail blind or even a deer stand with him. He couldn't stop laughing. I mean, it was 90 degrees out.
Yeah, it seems like
It was
at least
hot.
one
I mean,
day
it was
always
hot.
is.
So we're in that bail blind and we're just sweating, and he's got his camo jacket, like sweatshirt off, and the only thing that camo sweatshirt was good for was covering up his laugh that night because he was laughing so much. Like, it was just a blast. But fast forward to my next trip out there. I made it back out there in October, and I think it was my first sit back out there. I sat where Jake and his girlfriend sat, and littered with deer. I had deer all night, and then all of a sudden they were out in the wheat field. We're right on the edge of like a cornfield and a wheat field. So they come out of the corn or they come out of the pasture on the other side, and I don't know, I'd say 20 deer out in this field, and all of a sudden they just all start running. I'm like, that's weird. My wind ain't blowing that way, nothing. And all of a sudden I look down this tree row as far as I could see. You can't see very far, and I see this big like dark figure. I'm like, what the heck? Well, turns out it was a bull moose, just a young one, and that was pretty cool. He came to like 5 yards on me and
I think
sat there for like a minute.
I think you showed me a video of that or something.
Yep. Yeah, it was one of the coolest experiences I've had in a deer stand.
That's really cool.
I mean, you don't expect to see that when you're whitetail hunting. Is a moose walk 5 yards away, and we're up. I'm only up in a ladder stand, what, 12 feet?
If that,
Because we
yeah, it
couldn't
was really
get all the
short.
ladders in it.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to be. I don't know. He was really close. Let's just
Yeah.
put it that way.
Yeah, I think in the video you guys are both going, ooh.
Yeah, no, it was a great time. I also had a really nice 5x5 that trip that I ultimately passed. I decided I didn't want to shoot him. I wanted to go for something a little bigger. He was probably 115 to 120 inches, somewhere in there. And yeah, ate the tag. So didn't work out, but
Well, that I think just gave you a
oh yeah.
little good luck going into the Wisconsin season, though.
Yeah, it did. We came back home, and it when was it? It was a youth hunt weekend. Hunting down south in Wisconsin, central Wisconsin, all weekend. Came back home, and I was hunting with my wife's sister, and we didn't see anything she wanted to shoot, so we came home, and that night my boy wanted to go out, and he doesn't shoot a rifle yet, but he shoots a crossbow. So I'm like, yeah, let's go to our property back home, and we wanted to shoot a doe. So I'm like, oh yeah, we got a food plot planted over there. Might as well go out over there. Let's go try it, bud. Sit there for a while. We're sitting there, and I don't know. I'm sure a lot of people know how it is sitting with a young kid. He's now 6, but he wasn't 6 at the time. He was almost 6, but gets very impatient right at last light, and that's like the best time to hunt. Obviously, everybody knows that. And all of a sudden, he had to go number 2, and there was no keeping him in the sand barely. So I asked him if he'd wait 10 minutes, and he said no. And so I'm like, how about 2? Let's wait 2 minutes. And I would say after about 30 seconds, we seen the flicker of a tail on the edge of the food plot. And I'm like, all right, buddy, there's something coming in. And he forgot all about that for a little while there. And we're waiting for this deer to come in, and it ended up being a doe, which we were out there for. And as we're waiting for it, I'm going over everything with him, just making sure he's ready and everything. And we're going to wait for this doe to come into the proper yardage for him. And I look to the right, and there's a big 10-pointer standing right there, 15 yards away, looking right at us. And yeah, minute and a half later, about, he walked in, perfect broadside shot. He smoked him.
That's awesome.
So that's how Wisconsin started for us this year.
Oh yeah.
So can't complain about that.
No, that's very cool.
So
Yeah. I was fortunate to, I think I might have told part of the story earlier, but in Minnesota, was be able to tag out, I think it was, man, it must have been later half of September. Yeah, would have last weekend of September, something like that. But my dad got a new property down in southern part of the state, and I was only on it one time. And I'll be honest, I put in no work and deserved nothing, and sat there for 3 hours, and it was like the 13th deer that came out, and 44 yards, and the rest is history. And that was just one of those spots that wasn't hunted yet.
Yeah.
The deer were there,
Just being there.
and just worked out pretty good. That was a nice 11-pointer. That was a good deer. And then going into closer to the rut, I connected on one in Wisconsin, but made it a horrible shot. Lost that deer.
it was the same weekend I shot mine, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was early part of the rut.
Yep.
And drove me nuts. Like, I literally just was sick, didn't even want to sit for a while.
Mm-hmm.
and ultimately later learned that one of the neighbors only like half a mile away ended up shooting the deer, and the deer was fine during the gun season. So it was cool to know that it made it, because
Yeah.
I was really frustrated.
Yeah, that kept you up at night. You hired a drone.
Oh yeah, we went
Yeah.
and did the full shebang to try to find
Did
it
everything you could
because
to-
yeah. Well, I hit a deer like that years ago in the same, what I thought was like the same spot, and ultimately it ended up catching, must have been part of the stomach, and dying.
Mhm.
And it was a horrible blood trail. So I thought it was going to be the same way, but it lived, 3 weeks before the neighbor shot it. So once I heard that deer got shot, that made me feel a little better. But then we had a little success during the firearm season, and that was good. That that was a buck that I'm happy I got, because I was so frustrated with the archery part of things. But now sitting here, it's kind of like, I'm not knocking that I shot it, because I'm happy that I got the deer, but at the same time, it's like, well, man, that'd be a good one this year. So,
Yeah.
There's always sometimes that
Yeah.
mindset that goes into it, but you got to be ecstatic either way. And
yeah, no, and it was long shooting, and it was fun, and it was one of those spots too. Same thing. Haven't sat it. I don't think we're back there for 3 or 4 weeks, and suddenly the deer pour out into a cut cornfield, and you go from having a really slow day to suddenly
Slow day.
littered with them.
Yeah.
Well,
You
maybe
were
the
littered-
slow first hour.
Yeah, you were slow. You were having deer all day.
So
Well, for me, after Triton shot his buck, I switched gears into hunting down there, like we always do. During the rut, it was pretty good. Like we talked about earlier, I have an obsession over one deer, and so I was trying to sit this one property. It was a new property, and um, we have a fun thing that when we have big deer, we let my boy name them. So it was a new property. We got cameras on it last year after rifle season when we made the deal with the guy, and he named him Bob. So I was after Bob most of the year, and you were too for part of it.
I sat for him a couple times.
Yep. And he was just an awesome buck. Anyways, I was hunting him, and there was this property that we have that has been a really good property for us in the past for killing some nice mature bucks. And so we hadn't sat it yet that year. And I was kind of like at that point, I'm like, well, I want to try somewhere new, and went there, sat there, and that's when I shot that 10-pointer that wasn't on camera. Like, well, he was on camera, but that day he never hit that camera or anything like that.
yeah,
Had 2 encounters with him. He came in at 40 yards, surprised me, came out of the pines. Couldn't hear him at all until he broke a branch when he stepped out of the pines, and all of a sudden he was there at 40 yards. Nothing I could do. There's one shooting lane there. He walked right past it right away. So now I'm like bumming. I got a 6-pointer just bumming around the pond. Like, he's just there. He's not leaving. So I just kind of forget about him off to my left, and I don't know, an hour later, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that 6-pointer's still over there making scrapes and doing all this crazy stuff, making all kinds of noise. And I look over, I'm like, whoa, that's not a 6-pointer. Comes in, shoot him, and I mean, the rest is history. And ended up being a really nice, scored 147 with a broken G4 on him. So,
that was the beauty of the buck.
yeah, it was a beautiful buck, and have no complaints about that. And we were kind of bummed at the time because, like, for me, I'm like, well, I was after Bob. I shot, and I was more than tickled with this one. Like, that's plenty big enough for me. But now I sat there for what, 3-4 weeks without being able to hunt. So
Yeah, I've never seen you so fired up for gun season.
I'm not somebody that gets very excited about gun season, but this year I was, and more so because of our properties we had. I finally had a good spot to actually rifle hunt, and I've never really had that. And so I was really fired up. I didn't have a tag for 3 weeks, didn't get to sit. And yeah, then we went into rifle season. Saw one deer in the morning, but I pushed a bunch out going in.
Yeah,
You saw a bunch that morning. And then that night, we're sitting on the same property, 300-400 yards away. Bad service there, and we're just texting each other, kind of, hey, you see anything yet? And he's like, yeah, I saw, I don't know, what'd you say, like 6 bucks, 12 does so far. I'm like, what the hell? I'm only 300 yards away from you. I've only seen 6 does. I'm like, geez, no antlers. So I didn't see an antler that whole day. And you'd think that you'd hear him shoot from 300-400 yards away. Never heard him with the ridges and everything. Never even heard him shoot. And so got done hunting that night and find out when he gets back to the truck that he shot a buck. I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Like, let's go look at him and do that. Get his buck. I don't know if you want to tell any more stories about your rifle buck or not, but the next morning I sat the same field, same exact field that he shot his buck in, and I was able to shoot another nice 8-pointer. Kind of same scenario he is in right now. Like, kind of wish that buck was still alive. Had really big brows on him, big busted split G2 on him, and he's super nice buck. Really happy. I haven't shot a deer for 8 years with my rifle, so I was really happy with him.
Absolutely. You gotta break the ice with that for sure.
But then going into that next week, we already had a 4-day planned vacation. We did all our Thanksgiving stuff early with our family, and we were planning on going either to North Dakota or to down there again. And my wife had her rifle tag still, and so she goes out, sits the first night, and we were gonna all sit, me and my 2 kids and her, all in the blind, and we decided not to because the kids didn't really want to anymore by the time we got down there. And so we put my wife in the stand, and she ended up killing Bob that night. So he ended up being a really nice 15-pointer and scored 170 and 5/8, I think. And
Jake, would you do me a favor and
Yeah.
go grab that?
yeah, I brought a shed that you guys haven't seen
Grab
yet
that shed.
from that deer from 2 years ago. Me and my boy found it this year when we were walking. So that's his shed from 2 years ago. It's almost identical to what he is this year, besides the mass. He had really good mass there, but it's even crazier this year. And like this point back here is longer. The splits are longer. Everything's just longer.
What did you say you scored this year?
170 and 5/8.
Just a tank.
Yeah.
That deer's beam's just unreal.
Yep. I got up, finally got to the blind with my wife, and I don't know whether she didn't know what to do.
I'd be frozen still, I think.
Yeah,
Like,
I get up to the
178
blind, and she's
spot.
like, "You got to make sure he's dead." I'm like, "Where is he?" I'm looking at a big cut cornfield, and she's like, "He's up there." She's like, "You need to look at him through the binos." And I'm like, "Where are the binos?" She's like, "Oh yeah." She runs back to the blind, into the blind to grab him, hands them to me. I mean, she's shaking. She's got like tears pretty much rolling down her eyes, happy as can be, but didn't know whether to cry or whether to
Laugh, smile,
yeah, she's
be
still
happy.
shaking like no other. Like it was awesome.
So Bob, that was the biggest buck you guys had on camera this year, you think?
Well, on our lease properties,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
we had other deer on a couple other properties that probably were, well, for sure one was bigger. But that was the one that I was fascinated with all year.
That's
So,
what a beauty of a deer.
oh yeah.
Just-
And the coolest part about him was he had a bunch of like fence wire wrapped in his antlers. It was just wrapped everywhere in his antlers. It was pretty cool.
just so much character to that deer with everything that it just had natural, and then with the wire wrapped in. Like the photos are just amazing. So
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, that's the stuff you can't make up. That's
Yeah.
just it's just a weird deal. Just still kind of crazy that works out.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
That's just it. It's like makes you speechless. Just
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
what-
I shouldn't, we
Bucks
shouldn't be
like that.
surprised anymore, but we still are. Like, for one, to get a picture of it, right?
yeah.
And then to actually have it come out in daylight and have somebody in your group kill it is mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
Like, that thing lives there probably 6.5, 7.5 years, however old it was. And, you show up and
There was no
It's-
patterning
it's-
that deer either.
No,
he would show up
yeah.
in a different
very
spot.
random.
We have a lease like a half mile to a mile away through the woods. All of a sudden he'd be over there one day. Like there was no patterning him. I still remember the day I was already tagged out and you were down there with our other buddy. And I'm at work and I'm like, it's 2:00. I look at my cell camera app and I'm like, there he is. He's at the water hole right now. I'm like, I text him and he doesn't reply. I'm like, where the heck are they? Like, he should be sitting there. He was gonna maybe go sit there tonight. I'm like, I'm freaking out. I'm like, there he is. He's in daylight for the first time in a while. Like, what's going on? I call him. He's like, Yeah, I'm just getting my gear on. What's up? She's like, I'm like, Bob's sitting at the water hole right now. I was so mad.
Another downfall of the trail camera thing.
That's
just
yeah.
that.
It's awesome though.
So what's your plan for the mount with that? Like, that's obviously a special deer that doesn't come around too often. You guys doing anything special for it, or?
It's at the taxidermy right now. We haven't picked out the mount yet. We plan on trying to mount it with the wire in its antlers still. We want to leave that in there, kinda. Taxidermist said it hides. I mean, it does hide a lot of his kickers and stuff. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. We don't know exactly what we're gonna do. It's gonna be a shoulder mount, but we might do a pedestal. I don't know. We don't know what we're gonna do yet.
No full body mount on that though.
No, we don't have. I would love to. We don't have the room for it.
I can imagine you already got a pretty hefty taxidermist bill this year.
Yeah, we got 3 there.
Making somebody very happy.
Yeah.
Going back to your bull buck though, you said you looked back and he was just right there. How close was he when you saw him? He was right there again.
40 yards again.
40 yards. So
Yep,
you still had to, it wasn't like surprise factor yank back. You still had time to process it, or was it like
not much? I mean, he was on the other side of the pond, not on the side I'm sitting on, so he's only going to get further away.
Okay.
Pretty much with every step he takes. So it was kind of a rush shot. I don't know. I was so frustrated with not getting the first shot at him because he was at 40 yards right there, right down the trail from me. But like I said, I didn't even know he was there until he broke a branch.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, ultimately I shot him at 42 yards, and yeah, I don't know. It's a hard layout because, I mean, we barely stepped foot on that property this year.
Yeah.
We never had the time. I mean, we had new property, that other property where my wife shot that one, and we shot our 2 rifle bucks. What did we get? 4 or 5 stands on 200 some acres?
Yeah, and all
we never had time to get down there this year to actually set it up how we wanted it to.
Yeah, the whole time we just complain about how unprepared we are, but then it turned out to be obviously a pretty good year.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yep.
No, you can't complain about that year at all.
no.
But yeah, it was just all of a sudden he was there, and I shot him within probably 15 seconds. He took one drink from the pond, looked up, turned around, and he turned just enough broadside, but he was behind a tree. So when he started going up the hill is when I actually shot him. But he was leaving. He was gone if I didn't shoot him right there.
That front leg was forward, just going up that hill, perfect for you. And
Yeah.
Just
if only I would have hit there.
out of my own curiosity, what are you guys using for broadheads this year or this last year?
I shoot Rage.
Rage? Hell
Yep.
yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, the Rage hypodermic still.
Yep.
Perfect.
I don't know.
That's what I like to hear.
No,
We're in a hot
Next
we're in a hot
topic.
we're in a hot debate between the 3 of us here.
I don't really have, I'll be honest, like they've worked for me, so I can't say anything bad about them. And the whole broadhead world right now is just absolutely crazy. And
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't have a love for them. I don't have a hate for them. It's just what I use. If somebody else said, here, use this, I would use that. You know, it just doesn't
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me at this point.
Yeah, I haven't
but-
lost a deer because of them yet. I mean,
I've lost deer because I don't hit them in the vitals.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, if you don't
Yeah.
make a killing
Well,
shot, they don't die.
Well, one thing, like I've
Yeah.
made a couple bad shots on two separate bucks, and one thing I noticed with those Rage is like if I don't get a full pass through and they're in there, like they're scissor cutting everything, like they're just slicing and dicing, so I still get good blood trails.
yeah, I think
And
that
I'm
goes
still
for any
finding those
broadhead
deer.
that stays in them, though.
It's still working.
Yeah. I just think that's why I like mechanicals, because those blades are working back and forth and doing all
Yeah.
sorts of crazy stuff. Where that fixed one is
Yeah, but it's still got
It's-
blades on it. That's
it's
still
still
moving
good.
back
Absolutely,
and
but
forth. I mean,
I don't know. Think of scissors, how those work, you know?
Scissors versus knife.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah, but
doing
scissors
I'm
have
not doing
force cutting.
geometry. I'm not doing geometry or physics tonight. so.
Bringing us back to high school math class.
All right, we'll get off the broadhead topic. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
no, but it ended up being honestly my best year. I've been struggling for the last 4 or 5 years. I got a pattern going. I shoot one in North Dakota. I don't shoot one in Wisconsin. Last year I was able to shoot one in North Dakota. Shot one in Wisconsin this year. Wasn't able to shoot one. I was able to shoot one in North Dakota, but I chose not to, I guess. But
Yeah.
I was kind of on that pattern of 1 buck a year. And this year was the first year I've ever shot $2 in 1 year, I guess.
That's awesome.
So I was pretty happy with that.
So going forward into next year, same game plan, same states, anything preference points wise for out west for next year? You guys planning on going west? What do you got coming down the ballpark for next year?
We were texting a little bit about that today. I've been reaching out. I got a few antelope points. I think probably 3, 4, maybe at least 3. I'd say for Wyoming, and I want to do an archery antelope hunt. So I'm kind of looking at that a little bit. As far as other hunts, my dad and my nephews have this crazy idea. They want to go do an oddad hunt in Texas. So we're trying to piece that together. So I think that'd be cool. A sheep hunt.
Yeah.
Certainly not in sheep shape, but that'll be something I have to work on. And then besides that, I don't know, chase a bunch of turkeys around this spring, a few different states. And
Yeah.
I'm going, is it this spring? Heading up to, honestly, I'm so uninformed on the whole thing, but I want to say Manitoba. Fish for a week, and then do a spring bear hunt. It's a bear hunt for like 6-7 days. That'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be a good time.
And then as far as the whitetails go, I don't think I will have an Iowa tag, obviously, withdrawing this past year. So may probably sit with a nephew or something if they draw, which we should have some tags for that. But North Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin should keep me busy enough for now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. North Dakota and Wisconsin for me.
For you?
Yeah, that's all I have planned this year, and then that antelope hunt, hopefully.
Keep you plenty busy. Put on the miles on the vehicles.
What do you boys got for points?
I don't really have much built up right now. I'll just be applying this year to pretty much everywhere. I'm hoping with the change in Colorado, I can still draw for somewhere for elk.
They're done with the over-the-counter archery, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's statewide?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm hoping I can still manage to draw somehow. Otherwise, let's just get that preference point and bank it and really focus on some whitetails. I'm hoping to get a I got it lined up with some property in Minnesota, so probably get the Minnesota tag, and then I'd like to get out to North Dakota, possibly. Been talking to some guys I work with that go out there, and they have just the time of their lives, like you guys talked about, just seeing deer. And
With North Dakota, it's fun because it opens before everything. So you get like, I don't know, it's your first trip of the year. It's just kind of
if I'm
fun
unable
to
to
get
go elk hunting, then I'm going to be probably for sure doing the North Dakota thing. So
private land or public?
Public. Yeah. That's the guys I talked to at work. They're all in public and seem to have success. So figured I'd give it a shot. So
Yeah, we got quite a few different states we've been putting in points for. I think Wyoming, Montana, Colorado, Arizona, and Utah.
Yep.
I think this year we're probably going to do a Montana. I think we could draw the general tag. My work schedule kind of fucks us out of archery season this year, which fucking sucks. Because it sucks. I've said it before. I fucking hate the idea of going out there for 3 years in a row with the bow, not getting one, and then going out the rifle and being like,
I'm bringing a gun.
so it might happen. If it does, then maybe I'll just bring
Be the only one out there in orange with a bow.
You've lost some sleep over that, haven't you?
Yeah.
we've had some deep
Triggered,
deep talks on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've been putting in points since our first year in 2021, so I think we're pretty steady at like 3-4 points a piece for. That's mostly deer, elk, and then antelope. I think we did Arizona, Colorado,
And was it Montana? I thought we
Well,
put it
there's
somewhere
third,
else. Yeah.
maybe a third one.
Yeah, you guys got to plan a Colorado hunt. I got like 6 points elk, 6 points deer, 6 points antelope.
That's a little bit ahead of us.
Yeah. We got 0 elk points because we just drew this past year.
Yeah, we burned that. Didn't shoot shit.
1 deer point for Colorado and probably 2 antelope for Colorado.
I think we have 2 deer now, right? 2 deer points there, something like that.
The archery antelope thing's kind of like the North Dakota whitetail thing. It's something to do early in the year. It seems like it's still reasonably priced compared to most hunts.
Yeah.
So whether you do like a semi-guided or a trespass fee or whatever whatever your options are, or just do public land, but public land antelope is probably pretty difficult with archery.
Yeah.
You're probably water holes, or else we're doing spot and spook, and
Yeah, lots of spooky.
Yeah.
yeah.
so
Yeah,
Definitely.
hopefully we can get that all figured out pretty soon here.
To go back to your oddad hunt, that's on my bucket list. That's I would love to do a hunt like
it looks awesome.
that. And they say it's like, I don't want to say like the poor man sheep hunt, but like it truly something that a working class man can't afford
Yeah.
compared to like any of the other sheep hunts that are
$30,000 plus.
$30,000 to $100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some crazy hunts out there that are...
And you might just have to wait 25, 30 years to draw the tag.
Yeah.
So, no, it's a little different, and it's West Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So I've looked into it in the past, never, no pun intended, pulled the trigger. But I don't know, maybe it's something we'll get in the works, whether it's 25 or 26 or whatever it ends up working out. But yeah, something different for sure.
Would you do that with a bow or a rifle?
With a rifle, it looks like. Yeah, that's
It's only
that's,
you.
that's some serious country there. So
Have you ever watched the video of Levi Morgan with, I think it was Aaron Snyder, did he shoot like over 100 yards, like 109 yards or something like that?
yeah, he shot it twice, didn't he?
I don't remember. I just remember his long fucking shot. I'm like, that's
Yeah, I think it was.
Steven, when you walk into a bow shop and you see the rack of crossbows hanging there that you can buy, do you just like see red and you just want to tip it over or something?
Just walk.
it's been a little bit since I've been in a bow shop. That's probably a good thing. Yeah.
He drives past Raven and sees
Blood just spoils.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of bow shops, I want to get into our archery league that we're in this year at Custom Archery in Superior, Wisconsin. Man, are we having fun or what?
Yeah,
First
it's a
year
blast.
doing it. It's been a really good time.
Yeah, just got into it. It's I hardly ever shoot my bow. But it was a blast. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Well, I mean,
It is a
It's
blast.
tough. It's tougher than it looks, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's difficult. I mean, it really is. It's fun. Not like crazy distance or anything. What 35-ish
35
is
is the
longest.
farthest you're
Yeah,
shooting.
so
Everything's
it's
20 to 35, yeah.
yeah, so it's reasonable distance. You don't have to be really good to have fun. I mean, I have fun or had fun last week, and I'm not a very good archer.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody had as much fun as our buddy that happened to be the first one to draw his bow back for the year, and it was way too cold out that day, and we all thought something might have happened because of how cold the bow was, but
Turns out it wasn't.
Yeah, this fine young gentleman, that's our buddy, goes to draw his bow back, and I actually think I happened to be looking in the binoculars. You guys were maybe getting your stuff ready or looking down
I was looking
range.
downrange in the
Yeah.
binoculars too as
Yeah.
it was happening.
We were all
And-
looking downrange at the target he was shooting at because
Because he couldn't find the target
couldn't
to start
find
with.
So we hear the string go, and it wasn't just the string; it was kapow. And,
It sounded like a gunshot.
sounded like a gunshot. We didn't know what happened, what got hit, and
his strings hanging everywhere.
his strings hanging. And a really nice gentleman that happened to be shooting his bow that must have thought we were something else. He looks over and goes, "Oh, you dry fired it." And we're like, "What?" Like we're all kind of like questioning it.
I'm still like looking down binoculars, hear the big bang, and I'm like in a daze of like, what just happened? And then
What did he hit? We were all
yeah, like
thinking.
what did he just hit? And that guy who was just a little bit over from us says that, and I turn and I look, and I'm like, there's no way that just happened.
I'm pretty sure Trevor. Oh, sorry.
There it went.
Our buddy, I'm pretty sure he said, no, I didn't dry fire it. And we're like, how many arrows do you have in your quiver right now?
All of
Because we
them.
all had 5 arrows. And he's like, oh, yeah, I got 5 arrows.
Just toss one.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jaden though at the bow shop.
Yeah.
It took like 5 minutes and he had it back.
Jake was like a minute.
Yeah, it was amazing. How
Jaden's
fast.
a whiz back there. If you want to know anything archery, where there would be bows or arrow builds, anything, he's the man to talk to. He'll set you up.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I thought he was done Did you buy a new bow or get a new set of limbs that come in because everything was gonna be cracked and
He was
destroyed?
he was already looking at the crossbow rack. I think.
I can use this in the league, right?
Yeah.
I'll refrain myself.
I already said that when I got there.
He's like, well, which one can I take?
Yeah. I'm like, you guys don't do bench rest for this?
Couldn't have dry fired at a better spot though. Like,
Yeah.
imagine if we were
Yeah,
in the
you walk-
backyard at home or something goofy and that happened, we would have been really riding
Oh,
them.
yeah.
But when you can just go
20 steps.
20 steps, I screwed up, and hand it over, and have it back in a couple minutes and keep going. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turns out he actually did everything right. He just didn't put an arrow in.
yeah. And Jaden made sure to bring the bow back and show him how to put an arrow in and knock it and everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, well, it can be tough.
yeah, so
It
that
can
was
be
good.
tough. Like when you're first learning, it can be tough.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the highlight of the night, though. That's for sure.
I was gonna give him a hard time because your son was there and over there
Oh, yeah.
slinging arrows, no problem.
With
and
his
he's-
new bow,
He's
yeah.
6 years old and he's shooting bullets at the target, and I was like, Trev, maybe you should go stand over there.
Yeah, I tried to sub Tyler's kid in, but I guess you guys wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
It's an unfair advantage.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
or else Trev could have maybe borrowed his bow.
Yeah.
They're about the same size.
Same draw length.
Yeah, same draw length.
Same.
All right, now we're just moving.
we gotta be nice. Oh man, no, that's a good time though. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season. I just like never done it before, being in the league, and just from doing it now and just seeing what it's all about and just getting those reps in weekly, where it was what was it, -20 degrees out?
Yeah, that's what's nice.
Something
you get
like that. We
inside.
were able to
you
get
shoot.
inside where it
65,
was warm.
70 in there.
Yeah, and we're getting reps in like.
Well,
It's a
we
good
all
time.
we all devote our life to this now, like hunting. That's
Yeah.
all it is, and it's nice to be able to go do something like this in the off season and
Yeah,
keep thinking about it. I guess.
keep thinking about it, and we can keep changing our gear up and do whatever we want to do, and like just the excitement for next season just
Yeah.
builds each week.
It's also nice that our team won, right, Brett?
Absolutely.
The shootout.
Yeah.
Your team's gonna win every week. So we'll crown you the
One
champs.
between our two teams,
Yeah.
I should say.
Yeah. Out of our two teams, we're a little bit.
Yeah.
We're not.
I don't think anybody wants to
close.
shoot while we're in the shooting range.
I
we
would
don't
recommend-
focus too much.
No, we're
or use arrows.
yeah. We're kind of a hazard while we're in
Yeah.
there, but we're having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys got any plans for like Bowfest or Attack or anything this year with 3D League? Kind of getting into that. Is that going to make you
I
wanna kinda
told-
shoot those? Or
I told Brett I'd shoot with you guys on at least one of the days of Bowfest. I'll do that. I mean, I can't. That's a long ways away.
yeah,
Kids sports and stuff. I have
Yep.
no idea what's going on at the time, but I'll shoot one day for sure.
Yeah.
For me at least.
Yeah,
It's
I would like to do it a little more. I want to. Obviously, it's good for, just general practice. Get ready for North Dakota. I want to try to shoot a turkey with the bow. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Shot a lot of turkeys now, and as if it needs to be any more of a challenge. Sometimes you can't get one even close to you. So, but I think it'd be fun.
Just really jump into it. Go archery for a turkey, and then try to self-film it all too.
So,
And just throw it all at yourself.
Steven, what is your plan for turkey hunting? Are
exactly what he said.
you coming down with me for our season?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
We already
open to
talked about it a
anything,
little
yeah.
bit. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I know because I know you kind of looking to do the same thing around
Yeah.
that same time and that.
Do you have the same season as us?
I'm a week later than you
A
guys.
week later.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we're gonna have to get to over the if they. Have any left.
They won't have any for that week.
Oh, you don't think so?
No,
For
they
third?
for third. I don't think they will they?
By zone one.
Yeah.
Hunt,
Yeah,
hunt
we
our
can
properties
we
in
can
zone
hunt our
one.
zone 1 properties. I was gonna say normally they don't have zone 4 over the counter for not many at least, do they? For third season?
Typically, no.
No.
Yeah.
Normally we can get one for fourth season though.
Yeah. No, I'm all about getting out this year and just trying to. I want to shoot one with a bow. It's been since high school since I've shot a turkey. It was with the shotgun, but I want to get out there and
What
just
was that?
film too. What's that?
It was with a shotgun.
You would use a gun to
I
shoot
didn't
a
say,
trigger?
I didn't
What?
say crossbow. I didn't say crossbow. But yeah, no, I want to get out there and
Ugh,
just
this
film
guy.
too.
Just feels dirty. in
Yeah.
here.
Uh,
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that'd be fun. We might have to skip somebody's wedding to go
Lose
film
that
some
one,
hunts.
But just back to Bowfest quick. This year, from everything that I hear, it's going to be
fun.
really great year for it. There's going to be change up to courses from what I'm hearing and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to it. And it's if you guys like haven't done it before, like it's a workout. Like,
Yeah, I've been to Bowfest, just never shot.
Yeah, so you want to be maybe working a little bit beforehand. Otherwise, you're going to find out quick that you're not quite as ready for elk season or something as you think you might be. We don't have the elevation here, but even those hills and everything that they have there is.
I don't know if you've seen where we hunt, but by the time you get to the stand where we hunt,
I'm sure you guys got your e-bikes and everything else going.
yeah.
Yeah, that's something that's kind of in the works a little bit too. But
I tried mine out this year. Mine's not a hunting e-bike.
No.
It's more of a moto e-bike for around the dirt bike track. But I brought mine on a couple hunts this year just to get back in the woods a little ways.
Yeah.
Use it in North Dakota. That was pretty fun. Hard. Had a ghost blind down it, my bow, my back. It was one hell of a ride in a hayfield.
Yeah.
That's not very smooth. So it was fun though.
yeah, that Bowfest weekend is always a little tough. I've gone a couple times, obviously had a blast, but we're normally doing our plots up here that weekend, weather permitting and so on.
Yeah.
So it's, even though don't spend nearly as much time hunting up here anymore, but still
It's still fun to do.
it's still fun to do.
Yeah.
If you do get one, you reap the reward a little bit.
Yeah.
So
The sweat equity goes a long ways.
yeah,
All right, I got something fun planned for you guys.
here we go.
Because you're kind of a whiz when it comes to deer.
Oh, I don't know.
So we got trivia.
Can we
Versus
actually
one.
make the loser shotgun beers this time?
All right, we could do.
Can you hand me a beer, Brett?
Yeah, I'll hand you a beer.
Now you're obsessed with shotguns.
I never had anything against shotguns, all right?
Well, if I'm gonna have a shotgun one, I'll take one.
Well, you might not have to, so I'm gonna give you guys an option. Well, this is gonna be tough.
If it's crossbow
So I
trivia,
got-
we won't have to. Well, maybe I will.
Okay, I've got.
I know Steven will have to be the one shotgun.
So any of you
I won
four
last.
can answer the questions before I say which answer is correct. I do want an answer from all four of you, so
All right.
we'll just do it like that.
I'm gonna wait till
Um,
Jake answers.
If somebody
this like-
doesn't get a single one right,
Price is Right rules.
Let's just go down the line. Steven first,
No,
Sam.
no,
yeah,
no,
we're gonna
no,
go this way.
no.
Yeah, I like prices right.
Yeah.
if somebody doesn't get any right, it's either shotgun your beer. Otherwise, I have like 70 shooters behind me.
I'll do the beer.
So it's your.
I'm just gonna get him right.
I'm not worried.
That's what I figured. All right, no peeking, fellas. All right, first question of the deer trivia. What is average age of a whitetail? Average age, buck doe. Average age.
In the wild?
Or killed.
Is this
In the wild.
Wisconsin? Or North
This
America
is
as a whole?
North America as a whole.
Is it a
Bucks
multiple?
and does combined,
Yeah, average age.
3.5.
Is this like being said during deer season? You know what I mean? Or is it like, because I've just a question.
You guys are really thinking hard about this.
I am. Because I'm like,
Can we
okay,
say the same
it's
answer?
different
Yeah,
because if it's
absolutely.
in fucking May, obviously it's not going to be a whole bunch
I
of
was
three
just
and a
gonna
half
say.
year olds up
I'm gonna say 2.5.
Okay.
Get on the wagon, dude.
there. I wanted to say 3, so I'm going to say 3.5.
All right, the answer is 4.5 is the average
you
whitetail
go.
age.
I didn't get it. Sam did.
Oh.
All right.
I feel like I see a lot more 2.5-year-olds.
But you don't know how
I
old
feel like yeah.
But you don't know how
I don't
old the
see
does
very.
are.
I don't. I
That's
don't.
the-
That's what I
that's the
think
kicker.
don't-
I don't see
Yeah.
very many 4.5-year-old bucks
Well,
in the stand.
No,
at
because your
least.
wife shoots them all.
I only
That's true.
shoot 2.5.
Well, you don't want them to get too tough.
No.
it tastes better. Right? All right, next question is, what is the Wisconsin typical whitetail record buck?
Typical?
Who?
I feel
What? Do you know what it
Because I
scored? Do you,
just say-
okay, do you know what it scored, or do you And then, do you know who shot it as well?
No, I don't know.
Don't know who shot it. I want to say it was actually a gentleman out of Danbury that held it for the longest time. I cannot think of his name. I don't know if he was from Danbury. I just know that's where the deer was killed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Are we talking net score?
Yeah, record book score.
191.
Okay.
I'll go
There's a lot of numbers in the numbering world. You can pick one.
195.
202.
Steve,
Is it Jordan Buck 201?
It's the Jordan Buck. The Jordan Buck, shot by James Jordan, 206 and an eighth. And it was shot November 20th, 1914. And that still holds for the Wisconsin typical record.
Where?
That was shot near Danbury.
Damn.
There's actually
That was bigger than what I thought.
it's a giant typical. It still's, I forget exactly, but it might be top 10 still of all time typical whitetails ever killed. For a typical.
That thing had to be tough to eat.
Oh man. Back then they were hungry though, you know.
Yeah.
So they were eating it. But I'm pretty sure they have a what's it called? Like a
replica.
a replica of like full body, like made out of metal down in Danbury somewhere that you can go look at of it.
Is that the one on Main Street that you drive past?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Yeah, I drive past it when I came here tonight.
No, that's a Leinenkugel's chair.
I sit on that every time I go to the liquor store. All right, next question. What is the Wisconsin non-typical archery whitetail record?
I can tell you what the crossbow record is.
He's got steam coming out of his ears over here.
I'm going to say 220. I don't know.
220?
216.
216.
214.
223.
223. All right. The answer is 249 and 5/8.
Can we see pictures of it?
What
This
fence
was
is it?
shot by Jim Baker,
Oh, Jim. Yeah.
and this was shot September 13th of 2013.
Yep, probably made the cover of a couple magazines I've seen.
One or two
Yeah.
that you've seen, I'm sure. All right. How far away under normal conditions can a whitetail smell a human?
Steven or a normal?
That's a good question.
I know it's at least 20 yards because every time they hit that wall, they look up at me. And I'm like, what the fuck did I do? I didn't even move.
Yeah, I saw the video.
I have another video of a different one that I happened to miss. So I'm just saying.
Well, Steven's that guy we were talking about earlier. He sets the stand, sits that stand, doesn't ever move from that stand. That's his stand.
I did set up another stand. I never sat before.
Obviously wasn't any good. Quarter mile.
Quarter mile. All right.
Oh, are we doing miles or feet? What are we
Meters,
doing?
yards.
Whatever you think.
Well, what's a quarter mile? Like 440 something yards. Something.
I was gonna say like 200 yards.
200 yards.
I think I've been winded farther than that before.
Come on, let's go.
The question I can smell, right?
Yep.
Smell like
On a-
human.
Under normal conditions, how far
What's
away?
normal conditions?
Yeah, no
what is
wind.
the wind doing? Is it blowing at 5? Is it not blowing? Like, what are we doing here? What is normal conditions?
Probably
is the
a-
wind blowing to them?
Probably a
Like-
5-knot wind, typical day. It's not blowing at 30 miles an hour.
How are our thermals doing?
What are we wearing?
Up here in Douglas County, Wisconsin, we're not too concerned about our thermals with our flat land everywhere.
800 yards. I don't know.
I'll say 80.
So this is max range. How far? So you want 80? Sam, what do you got?
I said 200.
200?
400 something. It's gonna be a quarter mile ish.
Quarter mile away.
Is that what it
That's
was?
what they estimate.
Hey, I got one.
All right. What is the estimated weight loss of a mature buck during the rut?
Pounds or percentage?
Percentage.
This quick.
25%.
Did you
Percentage?
make this?
Percentage.
No, I could be off. I'm not gonna be off much, but I could be off.
I'll say 20.
20?
30.
I'm gonna say 22 and a half.
I like he says I'm not gonna be off much, and all of you guys are like, well, I'm gonna go pretty close. The answer is 25%. Nicely done. So who lost?
I didn't get one right.
I had a
No,
vicious.
Yeah, one right.
I had a vicious
I think
comeback.
it's-
I had 1.5.
So sounds like somebody over here is
You had 1.5, right?
shotgun
I
and
had the
beer.
Jordan and then.
You didn't get the score right.
No, he said
I
one
think
or
he
the other.
saw that.
I said-
Yeah, you did get one. Yeah.
Yep. No, that was fun. Well, I like making those trivia questions.
Yeah, we got to do one for like next year.
You gotta tell
Yo.
me you're doing trivia questions.
10
That's
trivia
the fun part.
questions. Loser has to cover everyone else's taxidermy bill. You know, something cool.
Then you're not.
Let's
coming
do-
out.
Let's do this.
We gotta put Brett on this side of
the-
it. Then.
the
He
way
can't
I-
just read them off.
The way I shoot, you don't got to worry about
Who's
it.
got a phone notes app handy? Quick. I got another fun little thing for next season, since we all keep in very close touch during hunting season. This will be fun. So we're gonna do estimates on who kills, how many times they kill, and their biggest buck killed for the 2025 season. What do we think?
We're talking nubbins. We're talking.
Whatever you think. Are we all going to kill? Is somebody not going to kill?
So are we going around the table? You're saying
This
Jake,
is like a
you're-
jinx here. Like
Yeah.
you're just
Oh,
jinxing
man.
yourself.
Are we like claiming what we're gonna kill, or like you
No.
claiming what we're?
We'll
gonna
start
other
with the
people.
four of us. We'll say what we think Jake's going to kill.
Okay.
And we'll come
Time.
up with like a killing time. I think with the amount of states that you hunt, next season you're going to kill 2 bucks, and your biggest is going to be 146 inches.
All right.
That's my guess for Jake.
What'd you say?
2 bucks, 146 inches biggest. Do you guys agree with that? Like, you guys, this is where you guys can say yes, no.
No,
Ty-
I think
Tyler's like-
you're completely wrong.
Tyler's like, all right, what up and comers do we got?
Yeah.
All of us trail
Yeah.
camera.
He's got
He's
like
like,
some
actually,
crazy
hold on.
equations in his head.
I've been thinking about this at work.
Yeah.
I want to say 3 or 4, but I'm going to say 3 just because I know how he shoots.
Yeah.
He could definitely get 5 next year if he shot straight, but he doesn't. So I'm going to say 3 bucks. His biggest is going to push 151.
151.
That'd be cool.
All right.
You guys are very optimistic. I appreciate that.
I just know where you hunt.
We're all guessing for him.
We don't have to if you guys agree with.
Well, I was
what
gonna
we
say
said,
because
but-
he was talking about going on an antelope hunt, and no one said that he's gonna kill an antelope.
Well, that's
That's
not a
true.
whitetail.
But he didn't say it just with white.
I was in my head specifically thinking whitetail, but it's fine. We'll stick to whitetail for this.
Well, he's going to have 17 pheasant.
Shot a grouse out of the driveway.
He was walking to the mailbox with a shotgun.
Yeah.
I think Jake's gonna shoot 2 next year, with the biggest being 166.
That would be awesome.
I don't know.
Year.
I don't know
That'd
where
be
I'm gonna
pushing
find
his
166.
girlfriend's deer. She
Actually,
ain't,
I'm gonna change that
she ain't
to
gonna
1
let
deer,
that happen.
166, because then he's just gonna not hunt
Quit
next
after
year.
Maybe he will get that camera and just start filming for everyone after that.
Film for myself. Just sit there. All nature.
But you deduct, I think, like 25 points or 25 inches for crossbows. I think is how it goes.
Well, who says he's going to shoot a crossbow next year?
Well, you never know. I think this league,
I've been working on him.
I think this league might get him a little more amped.
You guys don't realize, but he gets a lot of shit from me every weekend. Like,
I don't think he cares.
I get to a point where I have to stop saying anything to him because, like, I'm afraid he's going to stop talking
No. Yeah. Opinions.
Yeah. Everyone's got one, right?
Yeah, and they all stink.
Oh, this year was awesome.
All right. What do we think Gravening's going to do?
I didn't even have to give you shit on the one that you messed up in Wisconsin.
No, I'm still sick.
I think I did say you probably would have been better off with your bow
Yeah.
on that one. I think that's the only thing I said on
You
it.
still having nightmares?
No, once I found out the thing was alive, I felt better. I
Yeah.
just didn't want it rotting in a ditch.
Yeah.
So
Nothing worse than that. You're just constantly checking your trail cams, just like, please show back up, please show back up.
Yeah, and it never did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it wasn't a small buck either. Like,
That was nice deer. Gravening's gonna shoot his $2. Probably get at least one in the 140s. Go 149.
149, $2.
Yeah.
I'll agree with that. I think that's probably pretty close.
well, you can't say the same thing.
Yeah, I can.
Well, then who's gonna be right?
I think you're going to shoot 140s somewhere in there. We'll go 147. I don't think you're going to push that 150. Can you double it up 2 years in a row of just shooting big boys?
Mm-mm. I can't. I already know that.
Sam, you gonna sit? No, I said, are you gonna sit? Like, are you gonna sit this year?
You're going to sit in the stand?
Because I gotta start thinking.
How many sits
Well,
did you
I'm gonna
have
shoot
this year?
something in Montana, and I'm not even gonna hunt in Wisconsin.
Why would you do that?
That sounds
I'm
terrible.
gonna shoot an elk, and I don't care after that point.
Why?
It's
You
a
wait
joke.
all year for
It's
that?
a joke.
It sounded like somebody said crossbows.
Gee, you've got hot in here.
Fucking.
Are we still on Tyler?
Yeah.
He's gonna shoot one in North Dakota.
Yep.
And one
Didn't
in
shoot one this
Wisconsin.
year.
I'm gonna say 155.
You're really pushing it.
155-inch North Dakota buck.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta try to beat my wife somehow. I don't know how I'm gonna do it.
You're going to need a lot of glue and duct tape.
She's got two in the house that are bigger
I
than
have,
mine.
I got some.
Yeah, let's add a few together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say Tyler shoots 2, biggest being 140.
I'd shoot at 144.
Absolutely. I'm not passing up.
You don't even. Oh, yeah.
Every time anyone ever comes over, man, that buck there, the 2 upstairs, the one at the tax store, man, that another year would look good. And then I said, man, it looks good right now, though.
Yeah, that's his old.
Are we on to Sammy here?
Sammy?
I think Sam's gonna shoot one next year
I would take one.
because he hasn't shot one in a couple of years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I think he's gonna shoot one at about 130 inches. 131.
Yep. Sam's
Take
gonna
that.
Yep.
get one match somewhere in that same ballpark of that big 8-pointer you killed a few years back.
I think you're going to shoot one, and it will be with your bow.
You guys are going too fast.
It'll be on camera, Steven.
And it'll be 120. It'll be Pope, yeah. It'll be 125 and 1/8 after 60-day drying period. Yep.
This is gonna be a
Steven
10
won't even
get
be
a
done
break.
typing notes by next season. Get in the stand.
What did you say?
He's still gonna be sitting in the stand.
Steven's
What
right.
did you say?
125.
Steven's writing a Raven crossbow review right now.
He's not even writing our scores down. He's
Oh,
He's
he probably-
applying for a job. So
he's emailing Raven and Rage Broadheads. He can't stand either.
getting ready to order another shotgun.
I think Sammy will shoot one next year. I think it'll be about 118. I think you're gonna have a hard time passing one up next year.
118.
I think this year you had the opportunity you kind of talked about after that one episode, and I think next year you're gonna think about that and fucking whack 'em.
Steven, how many tags are you gonna have next year? For whitetail. You gonna
3 buck tags probably, 1
3?
Minnesota, the 2 Wisconsin. Yes, I do rifle hunt, Jake. So
I can't believe it.
with his bow?
It is
He
so,
does put orange on.
it is so inferior to bow hunting.
Oh man.
Steven's gonna fill both his Wisconsin tags. We know that.
Yeah, same
Well,
stand.
Yeah. his neighbors,
Neighbor's fence.
his neighbors are really gonna start getting mad.
We were just talking about like your guys' dream season, like Steven moving to a new property and the season he had was just
Oh, yeah.
ridiculous. Like
Yeah,
and he's got
I enjoyed the stories every time he.
he's got
texted us
some
about
nice
them.
deer still on cam, so I think next year he's gonna have another phenomenal year.
I know one made it. Just had the nice 10-pointer show up just a few days ago again. I'm like, he fucking survived rifle season. I haven't seen him like
That get your heart going.
Yeah. Steven's gonna kill 2 next year. What's your biggest deer, Steven?
probably the 9-pointer I shot this year.
And what did he score? Did you score him?
140 something.
No, we
Just open up a can of worms.
He goes, I was reading the tape measure backwards.
Yeah, it's like, do you do it in centimeters? What? Like, tell
I've
me
never
more.
scored a deer. All right? I never scored a deer before, so my buddy was at our house. He scored a deer before. He's like, yeah, I know how to do it. What do you got? Fucking something to measure with? Like, I got this fucking rope. You want to use that? He's like, yeah, let's fucking use it. So we did, and I think it was around like 125 or something. But then again, I don't think we quite knew what we were doing. So I think that was a great.
I'm gonna say
You're
result.
talking
Steven
about that
hits-
9-pointer that you shot?
Yeah.
Okay, we probably should throw up a picture again for the viewers so they can see this deer. That was not a
I think all of
125
us
inch deer.
know here that obviously I don't care too much about score. If you look
No,
at
that's
what I
why I'm
shot
not going to go
before.
too high with
Yeah.
the score you're going to get next
No,
year.
he
You're
just,
gonna shoot
he
2.
just likes to see the blood.
I think you're going to get 134.
I think that's pretty generous. Thank you.
No,
That-
I think that's good for you.
That 10-pointer you have on cam this year was mid 140s.
Yeah.
That survives till next year. That could be pushing 160s with the where you're living at. I'll say it's gonna be 157, and you're gonna kill it. And you're gonna kill it October 27th.
He's gonna
The
shoot
day after I shot the one this year.
Yep.
one basket 7 in December. Super frustrating.
I'll tell you one thing, it's not going to be with no fucking crossbow.
Yeah, he probably use a shotgun.
I'm gonna say 'cause you're working turnaround. So your first weekend out of turnaround, you're gonna shoot the first like 115 buck that you see.
See, I'm not gonna be that far up. Basket 7.
You're
Yeah.
gonna see a basket 8 like this. And it's gonna get smoked. He just works 7 days.
It's going to
straight
smell
for a
him at
month.
about 25 yards and you'd be like, oh, fuck no.
He's gonna say, "Man, I'm really glad I paid $100 for that broadhead because I shot it in the ass again."
Hey, it works.
It walks out.
It works.
Oh man.
I can tell you, I'm not going to.
Well, Brett, as long as you still got that same piece of property, you're gonna shoot a buck. So that's we know that.
I hope so.
Oh,
I'm going 2 for Brett. I think he's going to be putting in a lot of time next year, and I think he's going to get 2 next year. One with his bow, one
oh
with
yeah.
his...
and you said you're chasing
rifle.
Minnesota a little bit too.
Yeah,
Yep.
I got permission over there, so
Yeah. I'm gonna go
140
2.
on the nuts.
on the nuts.
Yeah, I'll stick with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys know that's my favorite number.
140.
I don't let them get any bigger. Yeah, I'd be happy with that. 2 of them?
Yeah.
2 140s or just
No.
one 140?
No, just
No.
one.
Shoot.
Yeah, that's like
One half
117.
rack. One half rack during gun season.
Only
Just
because you
fat
shoot the other side out.
Yeah, that's pretty likely with me with the rifle. Yeah, definitely.
How many tags are you going to have next year? You want to do North Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin?
That's
So possibly
ideally what I
4
want to do.
tags.
Have
And
4.
Colorado.
Well,
Hopefully,
we're
I'll
talking
draw
about
for
deer, right?
elk, but yeah.
Run into a random whitetail out there.
Okay. I'm going to say 3.
They actually have good whitetail.
3 deer. And the biggest is going to be 139.
39. Right, that's my mark. I like it.
No
I like
complaints.
the 3. Hopefully, I got 330 inches. I'm not gonna get too carried away.
Yeah.
Like
be fun.
I always like to start with 1.
Didn't take you long this year to get
See-
1.
Seems to take the pressure.
I'm
off.
The
just
second
hoping-
one took, well, I don't think it
Wow.
happened. Did it? Oh, yeah, the second rifle one.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the 3 of yours horseshoes this year of the 2 buck trend is going to salmon eye for next season. I've never doubled up. I don't know if you have. So I want some of that luck. 3 would be crazy, but 2 would be.
Well, if our
phenomenal.
fairly easy winter continues, I mean, obviously it was cold this week, but we don't get a bunch of snow, we should at least still have a few deer up here.
Yeah.
Right. Ain't much going on, but we're set up for another fairly mild winter.
Mild winter, and the deer can run away from the wolves.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Steven, you got any big plans? Start taking the kiddo out for a couple sits?
I really don't know what age is the right age.
There isn't
I'm
a right
gonna-
age.
I'm gonna build. Oh, yeah, it's kid dependent,
Mhm.
obviously, but like I'm gonna build a box stand at the house, which is gonna be bad because I'm gonna get fucking even lazier. But
So for me, I started taking my boy
Smell
out
those
at
little
2 years
nuggies.
old. 2 years old, he started coming with me.
Steven's
years
gonna build a
old.
box stand, drive
But
the
that
wheeler
was-
directly
that was turkey
underneath it,
hunting.
put it in park, climb the ladder.
2 years old in the box stand.
Turkey hunting.
Turkey.
That's where he started
Yeah,
with me.
he'll be a little over 2.
Little fun story. We're sitting there and we got turkeys gobbling everywhere, and I was trying to make it work. It was my second year really like turkey hunting. I shot one my first year right away. First what?
11 minutes.
11 minutes. Yeah, Jake was sitting not too far from me and our other buddy, and I had my hay dudes that year, and I forgot my hunting boots. It was really dewy in the morning. It was
Oh,
really
no.
wet. So we're like, all right, Tyler's going to walk to the edge of the field, and that's where he's going to sit. That's where we sat, and it was done in 11 minutes. Worked out perfect.
We had to figure out where to put them where you don't get your feet wet.
Yeah.
Walk on this sand road with your hay dudes and sit at the big tree at the end of it.
Worked out great.
Yeah.
But anyways, second year, I took him in. We go sit in the morning right away, and he gets impatient after about half hour, 45 minutes, which is fine. So we head out, and we're still calling. And one of our leases, we're driving down the road, and turkey's gobbling like crazy. I'm like, so I just park the truck, throw him on my shoulder. I'm like, let's go, buddy. Like, we're going in. Calling this turkey. We go sit next to a tree, and I'm not focused on anything around me. And this turkey's coming in, and he's like, Dad, buck. I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, there's no way there's a buck right now. Like, it's first week in May right now. He's like, big buck. I'm like, all right. I start looking. There's a big deadhead sitting 20 yards away from me, just in front of me. I'm like, whoa, yeah, there is a buck there, bud. It was pretty cool. So got that 1 year old for him. But yeah, it's fun taking the kids in the woods. So
What's your plan as far as like getting into rifle hunting? Has he hunted rifle?
no, so this year he shot I bought a carbine 7 MM08, and he shot it this year with me holding the stock with him on the tripod.
Mhm.
Shot it the day he shot his buck. We shot that before we went out because I'm like, if you can shoot that, bud, we'll use that. Like,
Do you
But,
do earmuffs or
oh, yeah,
suppressor?
earmuffs.
Like
earmuffs, yeah, Walker earmuffs on him. He shot it with me holding just the stock just a little bit. He liked it. I let him shoot it by himself after that, and it kicked back off the tripod, and it went back down. He's like, I'm good. So I'm like, all right, we'll wait 1 more year for that. So
Yeah.
he loves, obviously, Brett's seen it. Jake, you've seen it. All he wants to do is hunt, and I just,
Oh, he's obsessed.
yeah,
It's so
we
cool
bought
to
him
see.
one of them new Mission hammers for his birthday this year, and he comes to the league night now every night with me. Shoots his bow the whole time, pretty much. Hangs
Yeah.
out with us, and
He just wants a Snickers bar and some arrows. He's having a good time.
Sounds like Steven.
Yeah.
You're hunting.
Before we close this one out, I want to touch back on with your guys' lease properties and stuff like that. Like, what kind of pointers do you have for people that are like looking to do that, like building those relationships like you guys have had for these years, and like just continuing to get more land, or just keep being able to change your stands, your setups, just everything about it. Like,
Yeah, we've done it a bunch of different ways. We've done the look online, find them that way. We've done the sit at the local tavern of an area you want to hunt and try to talk to people and get the word out. The most effective way is get to know locals.
being friendly.
Being
honestly.
friendly, and just trying to let people know, hey, we're looking for property. If you hear of something, and then especially people, taxidermists, processors, people you do business with, once they find out, suddenly more people reach out,
Mhm.
and you just never know too. Like there's, every once in a while too, there's gonna be people that hunted a property for a really long time, and then they just don't hunt it anymore for whatever reason. And if there's people that look to lease it, you at least want the word out there that you're looking for property to hunt.
Yeah.
We find a lot of people that don't like to bow hunt. Like there's a lot of older people that don't care to bow hunt. They don't really mess with bow hunting, and all they want to do is rifle hunting. And a couple of our leases are only bow hunting. Like we don't get to rifle hunt them because they still go out and they still shoot deer with their rifle, and they want to do that with their family, but they don't care about bow hunting, and they don't care if we hunt with our bows before rifle season. Like they're not worried about us killing the deer that they want to kill during rifle season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and some of it it doesn't seem to last forever, but
No.
we can find some permission properties still. You never know. But no, we got a good thing going. Hopefully, it stays that way for many years to come. And
Yeah,
it's
I
a
mean,
lot
it
of fun.
just be as respectful as you can, and
I was gonna say
even
that-
with the land, like once you do get to lease it, like it's not your land at the end of the day. So you gotta make sure everything you do on that piece of property is approved. Like
Yeah.
you run it by the owner
I
before you
think
do
that
anything.
has to do with a lot of your guys' success with year after year still getting these leases, just being a good steward of the land and
Yep.
letting them know when you're there.
Yeah, if
just
anything,
being
most
a
of the time
trustworthy person.
we make it better for them. Like I mean, this year on our new lease, we got a new lease and we were all excited about it. Well, there was 4-wheeler trails cut into it, everything. Well, what do you think happened this spring? A little tornado landed right in the middle of the freaking thing and knocked down about, I don't know, a lot of trees. Like in one spot on the 4-wheeler trail, we spent 3 hours just in that one spot.
yeah, we had 3 chainsaws stuck at one
30,
time.
40 trees just like, and I mean, we go in there and we went in there and cleared it all for him. So he's able to use his trails again. Like,
Yeah. And that's how
just
you're
stuff
going
like
to continue
that.
to have
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
It's that sweat equity, building those relationships, making sure, being trustworthy, like for sure.
yeah. Biggest
cool.
thing is just be straight up with everybody.
Yeah.
Yep. If
Yeah, don't try hiding anything. And honestly, like the farmers, if they're a farmer or whatever, chances are they don't like the deer anyways. And if they're not hunting, they want the deer gone anyways. So,
yeah,
but they do like to see trail cam pics. They don't like if they ask you. We get asked all the time. Anything nice back there? Oh yeah, here's our folder of trail cam pics
Yeah,
of
you got
everything on your property. Like here it
Yeah.
is. I'll share the camera with you if you want. So, just
Very-
trying to be as nice as possible. I mean.
Very cool. Heck yeah. What do you think, Steve?
I think it's been a good one. Pushing about hour 40.
Hour
It's
40?
kind of our longest one now. So
I think
who's gonna listen to us talk for?
I think it's
We
'cause
got
our
some-
only 2 listeners are here. Right? So,
hey, we got a couple super fans out there. My mom watches.
I can tell you one thing. I'm gonna listen to it about 4 times and be sick of all of our fucking voices when I'm done with it, so.
Well, Steve, where are we going to be March 14th through 16th?
Ooh, we're gonna be Shakopee at the Minnesota Deer and Turkey Classic. You're nice enough.
Yeah, we got some hoodies and hats and t-shirts to come check out, and we'd love to talk with anyone who's willing to talk deer and turkeys with us and
Not
whatever
crossbows,
else.
so.
I'll talk some fishing or some flying, whatever you want to talk about. It'll be fun. Steven doesn't want to talk about crossbows, but
No, he'll
We're
talk
gonna
about.
Make sure to bring it up though.
Yeah, he'll talk about killing deer with a gun.
yeah,
He loves killing deer with a gun.
yeah. No crossbows though.
Well, thank you guys
Yeah.
for having us. Honestly, it's been fun.
Thanks for coming on. We've been really looking forward to this one, talking with you guys.
Yeah.
The knowledge between the two of you and just the experience you guys have had, and this season especially just goes to show, from that time you put in all year long, the sweat equity that I've talked about so many times tonight. But you guys do it all, and it really shows. So
Yeah, it's fun. We enjoy it.
yeah,
Nothing we'd like to do more.
Put our knowledge together and you get half a brain. It ain't too bad.
Seems to be working.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Awesome. Well, thanks you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Borderland Pursuits. Catch you next time.